Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Hello YouTubers, Doom143, and in this video we are gonna call this video the video that Doom starts talking in the beginning and he doesn't make sense already. We're gonna call this the contest mashup video. I'm going to be doing 6 contests on one vid. That's right. We're gonna do 6 contests on one video. Now, if any of you guys that I'm doing this contest for, if this is something that would get me disqualified, that's totally fine. I just wanted to show support to the community, and I don't have a lot of time like I used to, so I'd like to get these things out of the way as quickly as possible while I have the time, and I have the time. Alright, so we're going to do 6 contests. First of all, nothing. There's nothing. Let's start it off. ADI Samurai, congratulations, bud, on your 300 subscribers. This is your contest, and your rules are 18 and over. US and Canada shipping is okay. You want me to mash up 2 heroes and make my own superhero because of all of these mashup superheroes like Weapon H and Cosmic Ghost Rider going around. Who else we got going around? We also got what is that other one? Red Goblin. So we got a lot of mashups going on. So you want me to mash up 2 characters? Well, here we go. The Hulk and the Flash. Think about it. Let it soak in. It's actually not a bad idea, right? You got power. You got speed. The combination of both is pretty crazy. Yeah, granted, I guess Superman already exists, but I was thinking more of a Hulk-looking character with the speed of Flash. So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a cool idea of just those 2 things combined, and how epic a hero that would be. He also wanted me, ADI Samurai, wanted me to talk about my collecting style as far as condition go. Alright, I'm going to show you guys something really quickly, and while I get my computer started, I'm just going to say briefly, when it comes to modern books, best case scenario, I would only like to buy a 9.8 and a 9.6 at the minimum, and I'll show you why. I'm going to give you one example. This is Spider-Man 301. There you go. Can you see that? There you go. That's Spider-Man 301 at a 9.8, sold around February 15th. Alright, you got that? $900. It was sold. Cool. I'm going to hold this computer here and show you what a 9.6 9.8 sold for. And we'll show you right now. There you go. See that? $138. Huge difference between a 9.8 and a 9.6 when you get stuff graded. Trust me. Huge difference. So, preferably, and when you see people doing their CGC unboxing, and you know, maybe you're not a CGC guy, you know, you're not somebody that slabs books, and you're like, oh, you got a good grade at a 9.4 or a 9.2, which is really good. I mean, it's still a very nice book. But if you ever hear them get super bummed, well, now you know why. I like to view all my books, 99.99% of my books. So I guess that's not all, but 99.99% of all my books. Honestly, I feel they're either going to get sold by me one of these days, or it's possible that I'm going to hand them off to my son, and then he's going to sell them. So, I'm not blind to the fact that that's going to happen one of these days. I'm not one of those people like, I'll never sell a comic book. Sorry about that. I'm never ever going to sell my collection. I'm not one of those guys. I'm pretty honest. If something happens where I need to sell it, I'm going to sell it. But I want to make sure that I get the most money as I can, especially when it comes to modern books. I want to buy the highest grade possible that I can, especially in a 9.6 or in a 9.8. A lot of times, and we're talking about like real big collectors. A lot of times they'll even tell you if it's under a 9.4, it doesn't even make sense to slab it. And that's their thing. I have the privilege, I have the honor to get to talk to a lot of these collectors from Silver Age all the way to now. And I'm not even talking about the YouTube comic community. I'm talking about outside the community. I've been very blessed to have a lot of resources. And so when it comes to modern books, especially everything from the 90s till now, it really doesn't make sense to pick up something that's below a 9.4. Now everybody has their budget, everybody has their reasons. Do I have books under 9.6? Hell yeah, I got some slab books, 9.2, 9.4, of course. But I've really taken that mentality to heart more recently. I wish I learned that earlier, but it was more of a money thing. But anyway, I don't want to get too long-winded about this. Now, as far as bronze and silver, it really comes down to the price and the look of the book that I'm happy with. I would rather not have tape on my book. I would rather not have something cut out, such as a coupon. I would rather have my books intact. But it all comes down to the grade, and it comes down to what I'm ultimately happy with when it comes to bronze and silver. So those two ages, I can definitely live with something even below 5.0, sometimes even below 4.0, just to say I have the book. And yeah, you're gonna see a big mixture of comics in this video while I'm doing stuff, doing contests for a lot of people. But ultimately, when it comes to condition, I think the best thing we can do is buy something that we're comfortable with. If you buy a Spider-Man 300 at a 4.0, just let's say, will you ultimately be happy saying that you have a 4.0? I know some people, they like to buy their Grail books, and they're like, oh, this is a placeholder for now, and maybe it's $1,000 book, but they could only afford the $200 book, and they go, oh, this is just a placeholder. To me, you should have just not bought that book. You rushed into something. You saw something, you wanted it, and you should have not bought it. And I've done that a bunch of times. That's why I can say this easily and freely, because it's been the mistakes that I've made, and I wouldn't want to see anybody else making those mistakes. But at the end of the day, if you're happy with the money you spent, you're happy with the look of the book, that to me ultimately is the most important thing. Alright, so that was for you, ADI Samurai. Now we will be going on to Howler Mouse's contest. So Howler Mouse, shit, what do you say about Howler Mouse that hasn't already been said? This guy is beyond a guy who collects comics. This guy is a comic historian, in my opinion. This guy is someone that goes beyond just collecting comics, and he's very informative. So if you're not sub to Howler Mouse, like I said, I'll leave the links to everybody that I'm doing the contest for. This is not a sub contest, this is just a contest that he put on, and he just wanted you to show your top 5 favorite comics that you have in your collection which was super hard. To be honest, I don't even know if this is my top 5, but what he wanted was stories to go with the comics, and that I can do with these top 5. So this is Mighty Avengers number 3. This is a variant, and it's a 9/8 slab, and if you see down here, you'll see Eminem, you see Iron Man, and you see this house with the address 19946. So this is actually where Eminem grew up, in Detroit. And this comic here was the comic that brought me back into comic collecting. I already talked about this briefly in my last haul. Thank you for everyone who watched the last haul. I just put it out like a couple of days ago, and it already has like, I think, 12 or 1300 views, so thank you very much. So long story short, I followed Eminem on Facebook. Eminem said that he has this comic coming out on a Wednesday. I wasn't into comic collecting at that time. Obviously this is January 2014, so that is the start of my collecting. 15, 16, 17, so yeah, dang, working on my 3rd, 4th year. Wow, that's crazy. Back into comic collecting. So he said at Facebook, this book is coming out. I rushed to the comic book store, had to snap it up. I didn't care what the price was. What I didn't understand at that day was that there's a price for $3.99, and I think he was selling it for like 25 bucks. Like I didn't get it. I'm like, why? You know, I didn't understand anything about variants at that time. But anyway, whatever. I just bought it. So yeah, this is basically the book that got me back into collecting, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection. I left it as is for many years, and then one day I decided to get it slabbed, and luckily enough I got a 9/8 out of this. Super stoked on that. So yeah, this book actually means quite a bit to me, and this book will never leave. But it was definitely something that got me back into the collecting, and I'm a huge Eminem fan. I was actually just listening to about 3 hours of his stuff yesterday, so it's just, yeah, really big fan. And yeah, if you guys don't know, Eminem's a crazy comic book collector. Some of the things he did when he was young, because his mom, you guys may or may not know, you probably know, his mom was a little cuckoo, so you know, to pass the time, he actually drew a lot of comic books. And one of the things I always wanted to buy was a drawing from Eminem. These things don't exist anywhere, not that I know of, but I always wanted to find that somewhere, somehow, and I would definitely drop the money, because it would be way more than just a financial thing. It would definitely be something worth a lot more to me. But anyway, that's something else. Alright, so during the same time, while I started to collect comics, my son was into Teen Titans Go. Now this book is trashed. I don't know if you can see that. It says $26. That's how much I spent on this book, and it's probably worth way less than that. But my son was into Teen Titans Go. So while I was collecting, I started to see that like, wow, a lot of these kids are really paying attention to these Teen Titans Go. So I'm all like, okay, I need to find out what is the first appearance of these guys, because I need to put an investment in this. And I didn't realize Brave and the Bold 54 went for so much money. So this is what I just got back in. Like, the way I collect now and the way I collected back then is just so different. It's just so different. It's changed dramatically over the time. I would never buy something like this now. If I went to a Comic-Con and they showed this for 25 bucks, I'd be like, nah, it's okay. But I just wanted to have it, just to have it. And the thing about it, it has so much patina on it. So much age. And there's such a deep story behind this, because I knew my son was getting into superheroes. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy this book. So I will never give this book up as well. It's not worth $26 to me. It's worth way more than that. but yeah, to the market, it's probably worth actually way less than that. But I really wanted to get this for my son, and so I wanted to invest some money into it. And this is actually a 2018 kind of list. So this year, I'm planning to buy the highest grade that I can afford in this book, and really that's the only book I'm kind of chasing this year. Then I hope I get it, because that's what I really really want. And it's not even for me, it's actually for my son, to never sell, to never ever sell. It's kind of that thing we had together as far as bonding wise, watching that show. So that's why I like this one. I feel like I went out of sequence, but I guess we're gonna get back on the Eminem thing. So I just picked up this book, and again, I just showed this in my last haul, but I'm gonna show it again. Man, this book is a freaking ghost. I could not find this thing for about like 2 years, and then one week one pops up and the next week another pops up. So I just bought both of them. I just bought both of them, and super stoked to have this. I can't wait to the next CGC opportunity, because I'm definitely want to get these slabs. This is another book. I actually have 2 of them. This is another book that will not be given up as well. And same story. I'm not going to get into the whole Eminem thing, but same thing. But basically, I was looking for this book for years. I wanted to find it, I wanted to have it, wanted to own it, and now it's in my collection. And let's all say it together now. Super stoked. Alright, there you go. So by the way, Howler Mouse wanted you to show him 5 books, so I think that's my 3rd one, and these will be my 4th and 5th. X23 number 1 Delato. This is a variant, and sorry about this little reflective thing, but we're just gonna roll with it. So getting into collecting, when I first started collecting, I just was a reader. I was reading Miss Marvel, reading Deadpool. I think the movies were kind of just starting creeping up. They started the news about the Avengers is actually going to be based off of Infinity Gauntlet came out, and man, so just a lot of great stuff was happening when I just got in 2014. I just enjoyed collecting, and I saw myself gravitating towards certain artists, and I noticed that I started gravitating towards Bill Sienkiewicz, David Mack, and Gabriel Delato. Now there's some other artists that I was into at that time, but it seemed that I kind of gravitated more towards those artists, and this was the holy grail for me as far as Delato goes. So I think I was talking to my friend, you guys all know him, Freddy's562. I'll leave a link for him too, why not. And I told Freddy's, you know what I'd like to do is I'd like to find out what is the most expensive book for all the new artists that's coming out right now. So what is the most expensive Bill Sienkiewicz book? What's the most expensive Adi Granoff book? What's the most expensive Delato book? And I really wanted to collect those because I started to get into the variants because I absolutely love the art on the cover. Anyway, I'm not saying this is the most expensive Delato book, but I think it's definitely right up there. And so this is the one that I wanted to own. I loved X23 as a character. I loved her in the movie. I think it'll make a great solo movie if you ask me. And I hope she does end up joining the X-Force team, like people have been speculating. But I really wanted this. This was something I really wanted. And I had this opportunity to buy this book. And this is actually goes against what we were just talking about, because this is actually a 9.4. Because a 9.8 and a 9.6 was kind of crazy, but yeah, I just bought it. I just like, it hardly came up at that one time, and I saved my money and I cherished it, and I put it on the side, and I bought this book, and I was finally able to attain the X23 number 1 Delato. And that is why, if you ever talk to any of my buddies or the 9.2 crew about about this book and the fact that they brought out a Virgin Store variant of this book, they would tell you why I hate it, because it was inaccessible, and then now it's just accessible to everybody. So anyway, yeah. Got this book, loved it. So remember, I was just saying that my other favorite artist was Bill Sienkiewicz. Well, he had a cover that I desperately wanted to get. It's again, I don't think it's his most expensive one, but it was the one that I wanted to get, and that's this one, the Moon Knight #1, Bill Sienkiewicz. The first time I saw this, I was just like, I was like Dr. Von Chiller. I was like, blazers, blazers. And I was like, I needed to get this thing. I needed to have that cover. And I'm so stoked to have this in my collection, because Bill Sienkiewicz is such an amazing artist. He's got a hit or miss on a lot of stuff. He's came up with some really great stuff, but just overall, just a phenomenal artist. Still works with pens, brushes, inks. It just, you know, not digital, just amazing artist. And so yeah, I definitely wanted to have this in my collection. And so I'm not saying those are my top 5 books, because that's hard, but these are my 5 books that I have in my collection that I can tell a story for. And so that was for Howler Mouse. Now we're gonna do a contest for my boy Jerno's Comics. I mean, come on, what can I say about Jerno's? Great guy, great guy, man. You can tell he's an ex-Hawaii brother, cause he's chill, he's mellow, you know, awesome guy, positive. I think the only time I ever seen him not be positive was when this last Star Wars movie came out. Yeah, he wasn't too happy with this last Star Wars movie. But yeah, no, Jerno's is a great guy. And you know, as soon as I found out he was doing a 500 sub contest, I was like, I'm definitely gonna have to do it. There's no way around it. I'm definitely gonna have to do Jerno's contest. Congratulations, my friend, you're awesome. I don't know why I don't have your phone number, so that we can just, you know, text each other what's up. But you know, you're definitely one of the guys that technically we grew up together in this YouTube comic community. So you know, definitely wanted to do this for you. He had, I think, 3 questions. Yeah, 3 questions. So your first one was, what is your favorite villain or hero? Deadpool. Deadpool, Deadpool, Deadpool. And I'll tell you why. When I first got back into collecting, obviously January 2014, I asked the comic shop guy, like, what should I read? And he's all like, oh, Deadpool is popular now, Miss Marvel, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool, give me whatever, I want to start reading it. And I absolutely love Deadpool. Like, you could just turn your brain off, read a Deadpool comic, and just have fun. It was so different from the other ones. They were so serious and dark and mysterious, and you know, I felt like you had to know their history or what was going on. If you dove into like Batman, you'd be kind of lost, and then maybe later on you could catch up and figure things out. But with Deadpool, it was just pure fun. You know, it was just fun, and I was all like, I think this is what comics is supposed to be. It's supposed to be just fun. And it was cool. Like, he had some great powers. The comedy was awesome. The writing was awesome. The art was cool. And I just wanted to collect all the Deadpools as possible. Every single Deadpool book that came out, anything that he co-starred in, everything that he made a guest appearance in, I wanted the whole thing. I wanted every single Deadpool book that I could buy. And yeah, so Deadpool, definitely. And when I found out he came out with a movie, you know, whether it did well or not, I probably was going to be super biased just because I like the character so much that I was going to like the movie. So while I was watching it, I was having a hell of a time. Like, it was the Deadpool movie that I was hoping for, and I got. And you know, I wasn't too sure if I was blind by the fact that I liked Deadpool so much, but it's cool to see that almost everybody really enjoyed the movie. And yeah, I was just super proud of it, how it did, especially with a budget. I think they had a budget of 50 million, and what did they make, 5 or 600 million? I mean, that's amazing. So yeah, that's my favorite. He also wanted to know, what's your favorite artist from the 70s or 80s? So I'm gonna have to go with the guy that I hate personally, but you have to respect, and that's Neil Adams. When it comes to Bronze Age for me, um, I just feel Neil has that look that represents superheroes so well. Like, just how he did the art. I just, everything, the cover told the story, and it made, I feel like if I was a kid back in the 70s or whatever, and I would see stuff, you know, just with Neil Adams covers on it, it would make me want to just buy it. And even now, I'm so glad, like a lot of his key issues, if you look at the covers, they're just amazing. Such an amazing artist. He got the details done, he got the shadowing done, and I think that's basically where, you know, things started to develop in art. I mean, granted, there was a lot of great artists, you know, Gil Kane, and gosh, the list goes on, Buscema, just so many great artists, but I see myself gravitating towards Neil Adams, and I just like his stuff. And one of my goals, definitely, you know, if I had the money, would be to pick up just every Neil Adams book that I guess that I liked, and which makes no sense, I guess. Just picked up whatever key Neil Adams books, I guess. And yeah, it's amazing. You can almost spot them out. Like, as soon as you see a cover, you can be like, oh my gosh, that's Neil Adams. And you know, personally, I never met him, but I've had people help me out with some Neil Adams books. And sorry about the glare, guys, but it just seems like nothing went well, and I just feel bad. So anyway, yeah, Neil Adams. All right, and then he asked one more question. Outside of YouTube, what is it that you like to do? And I think a lot of people know this, but let me give a small backstory real quick. So I just moved from one house to another, and when you move, you pack stuff inside of a you know, plastic bins and whatnot, and next thing you know, you don't know where anything is. So I was actually going to show you all my jiu-jitsu trophies and medals and stuff, but I don't know where they are, so I won't be able to show that. So I'll just show this for now. This is probably my favorite boxing glove that I have. Yeah, this thing is beat on the inside. Look at that. Look at that. That's classic right there. Duct tape. You know that's for real right there, man. Yeah, this is my favorite glove. And so yeah, I've actually been doing kickboxing for a while, kickboxing and jiu-jitsu for many years. About 2 years ago, I got injured. Ironically enough, if you're a martial artist, this won't surprise you at all, but I actually got injured from a white belt. And white belts, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, they can be a little aggressive because a lot of times they're scared. As somebody who's been doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, I actually was a trainer for a while. I actually was the head kickboxing coach for the beginners for Chris Liebman's gym while he was still living here in Hawaii. And you know, there's two things you gotta worry about. You always gotta worry about the quiet guy and you gotta worry about the white belts. The guys who talk the loudest, the guys who talk smack the most, even in real life, they're like the biggest pussies. If you ever meet somebody and they talk so much shit and they think they're hot and they just talk and talk, those are the guys you don't have to worry about, because those fuckers, they don't know nothing. It's the quiet guys you got to worry about. It's the guys who are calm, collect, and those are the people you got to worry about. And then When it comes to jiu-jitsu, you got to worry about the white belts because they're scared. And if they grab onto something, they want to twist it fast. And next thing you know, instead of training, they think they're in a real life situation. And next thing you know, they hurt your neck. So the problem is, when your neck is hurt, sometimes it goes down your spine. So anytime you try to work out, you try to do anything, everything just hurts. So it's been 2 years now that I've been trying to just get back into jiu-jitsu, but it's been really hard. So in the meantime, all I've been doing is doing stand-up, and I've been doing kickboxing. And so I've been doing that now for 7 years. I'm not training at all, as far as like being the head trainer, but I'm still training. And every once in a while somebody will have a fight and I'll help them prepare for a fight. Don't get me wrong, I'm not in the UFC or nothing, but you know, just small shows. I help a couple of guys, at least coach them through some fights, just kind of just picking off their flaws, you know, whether it's they don't have their chin down enough or they do the same combos over it. This might bore you, sorry. This is probably getting boring. Anyway, I'll leave it at that because I could go on and on. But yeah, so that's the thing that I do outside. Alright, so that was for journals. Mahalos, brother. You're a cool guy, man. Thank you so much for having this contest. Congratulations, and to many more, of course. Alright, speaking of many more, damn, JLS Comics. JLS is at 2,000 subscribers, which is kind of crazy because I remember seeing his subscriber level one week and being just wondering, how is this guy only at 700 something subscribers? It just baffled me that the guy who does so much content on YouTube, and good shit too, like good fucking content, like whether it's his JLS show or whether he's giving you the history of a character, or whether he has a haul, like it's all really good stuff. And I remember thinking, like, how does he only have 700 something subscribers? And then one week I'm like, oh shit, he has 2,000. So I'm like, you know what, I must have missed something. I must have not been looking at the numbers correctly at all. But if anybody deserves 2,000 and more, it's definitely JLS Comics. So huge congratulations to JLS, because this guy, you know, a lot of people say that you know, this person does a lot for the community, I think JLS does a lot for comic collectors. I'm not going to say he does a lot for the community and just end it at that. I think JLS does a lot for comic collectors, which is huge, because when you're a brand new collector just getting in, it's channels like JLS that you want to pay attention to. And he also has a really cool podcast with Strictly Comics, Exile Comics. I want to say there's another one. Is it Boston Chris? That, you know, they got their comic game like on point. You know, the 9.2 crew, we do our podcast and we try to stay away from what those guys do, because what they do is very informative as far as news and things that are coming up, movies and stuff, which is super awesome. So 9.2 crew, we just stick to variants and just fucking around pretty much. You know, we like to talk about just, you know, speculations and all that stuff. But what JLS does, I think it's actually more, it actually means more to collectors. Anyway, I think that's enough kissing ass, but I just wanted JLS to know that, because that's the honest truth. Alright, so he just wanted to know, what is your favorite story arc, your event or crossover, and tell the plot. Alright, so I don't know if you guys remember, but I was saying when I got back into comic collecting, it was just announced. I'm a huge I love speculations as long as it makes sense. Let me just talk about that real quick. I'll just just real quick why I like speculations. Prior to this, I was in the stock market, and I'm still in the stock market. And rule number one is, anytime you hear speculation, rule number one is always to do your own homework. Never trust anybody's source, no matter how good the source is. It could come from a genius like ETA Nick. You should still do your own homework. at the end of the day. So I've always taken that concept that I've used to, and I've had success in the stock market. And I've used that success and transferred it over to comic collecting. So one of the speculations was that the Infinity Wars, the Avengers movie was going to be based off the Infinity Gauntlet. It was going to be called the Infinity War, but they just liked the Infinity War title because it just sounded better. So knowing that, as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, I need to find this Infinity Gauntlet set, and I need to get all of it. I need to read it because I want to know what to expect for the movie. Granted, I think this was like, geez, years ago, but I just that's the thing that I wanted to do. So anyway, so I picked up the set, and I read the whole story arc of the Infinity Gauntlet, and it was just crazy. Like, Thanos kills, what is it, half the galaxy? And I always thought it was kind of stupid because I'm all like, I don't know if he gets to choose who lives or who dies. I might have to reread it again, but all I know is he killed like half the galaxy, and I'm all like, you kill half the galaxy, but you leave like the best superheroes alive. It's kind of weird to me, you know? Like, I guess he didn't have the choice, you know, or like, who gets to choose who lives and dies, and why do the best superheroes that have the best chance to take you down are the ones that are kept alive? But yeah, so it was the first book that the first story arc that I read that I just wanted to read the next and the next and the next and the next. There was a Batman one. Oh damn, I feel bad for not knowing that Batman story arc. Dang it. But there was a Batman story arc that I absolutely loved reading as well. But this was the first one, was the Infinity Wars. And what struck me at the end of this whole thing, like, basically, was that this was a love story. Like, that was crazy to me. Like, you know, reading it and then to figure out, or to find out at the end, that this was just a love story because Thanos wanted to hook up with Death. Like, that just blew my mind. Like, he just wanted to hook up with some chick, and he's like trying to flex as hard as he can, and she's all like, nah, it's cool. Like, you know, like, just nah, not today. And it was crazy. It was crazy. But absolutely loved Infinity Gauntlet. Absolutely hated Infinity Wars. Absolutely love Infinity Gauntlet. And yeah, it's so crazy to think that at the end of the day it was a freaking love story. But I got this signed by George Perez, because who else could have done this anybody? I think that was like, that's where I was conflicted with Jerno's comics contest, because he was like, who's your favorite? And I was like, is it Neil Adams or is it George Perez? Like, it was really hard. But yeah, had George Perez sign this. And if you ever see my Doom 143, you ever seen that, what is it called? Not an icon, I forget what it's called. But you see this here. This is the idea I got from my, for I guess my logo. But instead of Thanos doing this, I had him do a shaka. So I got it from this, the Infinity Gauntlet. There you go. Next contest. Bubs 100. Bub 100 subscriber contest. He said, oh, sorry, JLS, congratulations, buddy. You definitely deserve it. You deserve it. You're awesome. You're awesome. A lot of people would say pillar in the community. I say pillar to the comic collecting world. There you go. All right, so Bubs, is it Bubs? Bubs. All right, Bubs. He said show your top 5 comics with zeros in it. And the more zeros you have, the more entries you have. All right. So let's start off with the most obvious one. Spider-Man 300. You got 2 zeros there. Canadian price has $2, so there's 2 zeros there. US has $1.50, so there's a 0 there. And the barcode has 1, 2, 3 zeros there. There you go. I'm just fucking with you. Anyway, so yeah, 300. Let's do Captain America 100. There you go. 2 more zeros. Boom. Let's go Hulk 102. There's a 0 there. I did this one just to cheat. 700. Thor 700 with Adam Hughes. Boom. 2 more zeros there. 2 more zeros in the barcode. There you go. I don't know if this counts, but this is a book that I really, really like. First appearance of Gabby, the variant. This book is fire right now. If you don't own this book, I don't know. I say pick it up still. I think, you know, a lot of people will say the book is too hot. Or, you know, this book's always been popular. Let's talk a little bit about stocks again. All right. If Google costed you $75 a share, and if you thought that that was too expensive or it's too hot, then you missed out on a great chance. So just to let you know, some comic books, even what it's selling at right now, some comic books, you can still pick it up. Don't ever think that it's too expensive. Again, going back to what I said, always do your homework. For example, you wouldn't pick up a Fantastic Four 52 first appearance of Black Panther right now, because the chart on that thing has just shot up, right? So you have to wait till it settles down. That's why I never picked up a Daredevil 1. They're still making the TV show and all of that stuff, so it's too hot of a book right now. But there is always some books where there's really nothing on it and you want to buy it. Something like this. And that's just my personal opinion. There hasn't been anything crazy about it. She just got a new name. I think she's the honey badger now, Gabby. But yeah, definitely. I still really like this book. You can find it at a great price. Definitely pick it up. Anyway, that's not about that. Zero. Sorry, I went off. Always going off on a fucking tangent. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, that was gross. And 101. There you go. So those are books with zeros in it. Boom. That's for you. I'm going to leave this book up real quick. Tacoma. He said he has Tacoma Comics is a 100 subscriber contest. And he said to show, I guess show you giving a random act of kindness to somebody. I just mailed out 4 today, and I just gave Timothy the Canadian Comic Hunter 1 last week. If you go back to Timothy the Canadian Comic Hunter's last video, it's actually a random act of kindness that I gave to him. So there's that. I just gave one to Gino Benino this week. I also gave one to Mark Walters this week, and I also gave 2 to 2 different Instagrammers. And so your question was why? Why did I do that? I don't know. I don't know. That's just how I roll. Comics are cool. Friendship is better, I guess. One of those things. And you know, those couple of YouTubers reached out to me, and they were saying, hey, if you want money for these books, let me know. Are you willing to sell the books? And I was like, you know what, you can just have them. I mean, it obviously means more to you than it means to me, and if it means that much to you, then you know, at least I know it's going to a home that somebody will care for it more. And if they end up fucking flipping it, then whatever's, you know, I mean, it's cool. Because once I give you my random act of kindness, you are more than welcome to do whatever you want to do with those books, including selling it if you want to. But yeah, they reached out to me. They were asking me if you know, if they could pay for a couple of books that I had on my previous YouTube and previous video. And I was like, just go ahead, man. Here, give me your address. I'll send them off, and maybe you can just pay for the postage or whatever. So yeah, that's about why. All right, cool. Whew, that's all the contest. Cool. That was a long one. I guess I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's different, but there you go. All right, shoots and mahalos. I think the 9.2 crew is doing. Are we doing something next Sunday? We might be. Stay tuned. All right, shoots, mahalos.